when it comes to courroux or bourrées on point, there's so much nuance in them, but at the same time, you just kind of have to let go. So you have to stay pulled up in your upper body so that you don't sink into your shoes, because you're essentially just pushing your feet into the floor. You're digging one foot into the floor and then the next. You have to keep your knees supple. You have to keep the turn out so that you don't end up going back like this, nice and parallel. And you also have to keep your ankles, especially if you're somebody like me who has a lot of hypermobility within their knees and their ankles. You don't want to be pushing over like this with each one, because that is the sure way to get an ankle injury, to fall even, because you won't be on the platform anymore. You'll just be pushing over, and it's definitely a sure way to get Achilles tendonitis. So when you are doing bourrées and courroux, you already want to start and make sure you're on your platform. The back leg, or whichever one is, the back leg usually. Sometimes you can use the front leg to travel forwards, but more often than not, it's the back leg that helps you move that way. So if I'm going that way, my left leg, your right leg to the camera, my left leg is leading me. It's slightly over crossing. My right leg still staying turned out. But notice I'm kind of in a crunch with this foot. I have to kind of crunch it, because otherwise, like I said, if I push over it, that's going to really hurt my Achilles if I'm bent, first of all, like this, in this position with a bent knee, and I'm pushed over and I'm not on the platform. That's gonna hurt a lot. So again, because you're bending your knees slightly, you're still keeping them pulled up, because you don't wanna just bend them like this. You're slightly bending them. And by that I mean you're still staying in a straight position to begin, pulling up your knees, and you just let go of them slightly. They're supple, right? And see, notice, I'm gonna stop here for a second. I'm in a crunch. See how my knee's bent and I'm slightly in a crunch? Trying not to sink. These shoes are awfully worn out. But again, to make them look a lot more supple, the back leg's usually the one that leads. Sometimes, of course, there are instances where the front leg would lead you going forward. Sorry, I ran out of space. But if it is the back leg, you want to think almost overcross, but still turn out the front leg. And once again, if I stop here for a moment, and if I'm going to bend my knee, I'm still on the platform, so I'm not pushing over. Because a lot of the time people think, oh, in bourrées, it's the excuse to just sink in your shoes because you're bending your knees. And technique kind of goes out the window. But no, you still have to keep your knees pulled up. They are supple. And you don't want to push over. You do not want to push over. That, again, is the best way to get Achilles tendonitis. Highly would not recommend. Anyways, I hope that helped.